Atlanta. This young man that grew up outside of Philadelphia, went up to school in Boston, and now will be headed to learn how to speak with a slight Southern drawl.
I think, Boone, for Arthur Blank, turn the page. It's a new era now of Atlanta Falcon football with Matt Ryan at the helm. You're talking about a kid who carried a football team that did not have great receivers, a great offensive line, or great running backs. Matt Ryan, you talk about his size, 6'4" and 3/4, about 220.
With the 6th pick in the 2011 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Julio Jones, wide receiver, Alabama.
So Julio Jones coming to the stage. This breaks the hearts of some Rams fans that hope that he possibly could drop to them down all the way to 14. It also leaves Blaine Gabbert up for grabs for the 49ers, who are now on the clock, as we all create some headspace for those developments. Tell me about Julio Jones, Mike.
Heidi White, Tony Gonzalez, Matt Ryan is ecstatic right now. What a trade they pulled off.
Michael Turner, Julio Jones, Roddy White, Tony Gonzalez, Matt Ryan. That's not a bad nucleus to move forward. We're going to take a break. When we come back.
With the first pick of the 5th round, number 137 overall, the Atlanta Falcons select Grady Jarrett, the defensive tackle from Clemson. Rise up, rise up!
All right, there you have it. Grady Jarrett, as we discussed before, big favorite of Dabo Swinney, and he would argue, too, that guy causes the kind of confusion up front that allows some of the other playmakers on that defense to make hay.
Grady Jarrett needs to play in a penetrating scheme, but when he does it, he is dynamic. He is short, but plays with great leverage, plays with great balance, and look at him chase from that nose position. He will not give a center a break at all. Now, physically, you can.
How is everybody doing out there? How are y'all doing? It's another episode of Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast where we're doing draft prospects. I'm here with Devontae, also known as Cookie by Nature. How you doing, Cookie?
Doing well. How you doing?
I'm good, brother. It's another good day. Hawks are winning, so that's always good. They up by 10, so that's always a good day. How you doing? And we have a special guest here, Zachary. How you doing, Zach?
I'm good. I feel like I'm kind of betraying my my Louisiana roots by talking Falcons, but I'm glad to help you guys out.
Well, we appreciate that, brother. Let the people know where they can find you and stuff. Plug yourself in.
So I'm the managing editor of SB Nation's LSU site and the Valley Shook. You can follow me at my name at Zachary Junda. You can follow the site at ATV Shook. We're producing LSU stuff every single day, multiple times a day. It's baseball season. LSU's going to be in the SEC tournament tomorrow night against whoever wins the Ole Miss South Carolina game. Looking like they're going to make the NCAA tournament as well. So, and spring football is right around the corner for us too. So it's kind of peak content season for us as well.
Well, we hope LSU doesn't make it just because we're in Atlanta, but good luck to you guys. My team is out of the tournament because of COVID. I'm a Duke fan, so my team's out. Yeah, wasn't a good season anyway. What's up to everybody in the chat? How y'all doing out there? As you write, Ultra Shadow, go Hawks. Shout out to you, Tyrone. What's up, man? If you're new to the channel, you know what to do. Like and subscribe to this content. Share this content out with other Atlanta sports fanatics. And always come holler at your hometown sports podcast. So today we talking Tyler Shelvin. We're going to get into some pros and cons of Tyler Shelvin. All right. Great size on this guy. He's a guy, he's strong. He has quickness for his size, power. He takes on double teams, can shed one block easily. Pursuit on the ball is good. Not great, but good. And he's a run defender. He's not a guy that's going to go out there and get a bunch of sacks. He's not a guy that's going to be on the stat sheet a lot, but he's going to make an impact in the game, which is most important. He's going to take on those double teams so guys like Grady Jarrett can get free, so they're not double teamed. He's also going to chase. He's not the fastest guy, but he's one of the quickest. Good feet, and his power. Really strong guy. Weakness. Like I said, he's not a pass rusher. He's a guy that wants to work under the radar. He's one of those guys that want to work under the radar. The guy that's not on the stat sheet, but is very important to the team. Could be better at quickness off the snap. So that goes with not being a good pass rusher. He's not a 3-down player. He's a 2-down player. On passing downs, you're not going to have him in there. 4'6" guy. So he's pretty fast, about 350 and 6'3". Zachary, pros and cons on Tyler Shelvin.
But first thing that jumped out to me, King, where are you getting that 4'6" 40 time from? I haven't seen that, and I don't want to knock the guy. I don't believe that number.
What would you think he is?
I would think he's maybe a 4'7".
Okay.
LSU had 3 key guys opt out coming into the 2020 season. Jamar Chase, Kerry Vincent, and Tyler Shelvin. And Shelvin was the one that surprised me the most because he had the most to gain by playing the 2020 season. I don't begrudge him for not playing. Everyone has their right to play or not play. But weight has always been kind of the issue with Tyler Shelvin. Even like coming in or when he first got to LSU, he was pushing like 400 pounds.
Yeah.
And you just, when he to his credit, he did work out all through the summer leading up to the 2020 season before opting out. But when I got that news, I just couldn't help but think, man, I hope he knows what he's doing. I hope he can stay in shape because, you know, the talent, it's there. It's so raw. And, you know, I'm looking at his numbers. He's, again, like you said, he's not a stat producing nose tackle, but he just eats up blocks and forget double teams. You might even have to triple team him sometimes because he's that big, but he is deceptively fluid. Pro Day is about 2 weeks away for LSU, maybe 2.5. I really hope that weight didn't balloon and get out of control in these couple of months away from the football program. I hope he got with the right people, he ate right, and he stuck around that 350, that 340 range, maybe even 330. But I'm hoping for him, you know, because he was pushing 380, 390, you know, and I don't. I'm sorry. Go ahead, guys.
Do you think his weight problem is a lack of discipline, or what would you contribute that to?
No, I think it's just kind of, you know, just being in college. I mean, who didn't eat badly in college, or not to say badly, but not as well as you should. You know, Louisiana's it's the food capital of the world, so it's kind of easy to indulge yourself on Creole cuisine and gumbo and po' boys. But again, to his credit, he did drop that weight. He got into a better shape where he could be on the field more frequently. Maybe not a every down lineman, but a 2-down lineman, and these run situations, goal line situations, he was there. So he does have the discipline to drop the weight. He's done it before. I'm hoping that he kept that discipline, not being with the program this past fall.
Yeah. Cookie, what do you think? Pros and cons of Tyler Shelvin.
First of all, I want to know, y'all telling this dude 350 running a 4.7?
Yeah. So it's between a 4.6 and a 4.7, somewhere in there.
I just want to draft him now. Y'all telling me he big and can he run fast? Yeah, he's strong because we ain't had a big nasty nose tackle since Grady Jackson.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Shout out I'm saying as a Saints fan, Shelvin being paired with I'm already forgetting the guy's name, but is it Grady Jarrett? That's a pretty devastating combination if it works out perfectly, because I think Shelvin could eat up the space and kind of free Jarrett to penetrate on the interior.
What's up to everybody in the chat? Four is up. What's up to you, Atlanta Nation? Yo, what's up? Ultra Shadow. Tyler Shelvin is a big dude. That's what we need, more of on D-line. You're absolutely correct. Somebody that's going to take some pressure off Grady, man. Grady gets all the double teams now, and Grady is really undersized. Let's be real about it. He's a smaller D tackle, so double teams is probably his weakness. Atlanta Nation, shout out to you for agreeing with Ultra Shadow. I think we undersized it. We are very undersized. That's exactly what I said.
That's been years. Every year we undersized.
Yeah, it's somebody. Usually the whole D line is undersized. Sounds like Datario Poe. Yeah, he does. He does sound like Datario Poe. Tonga from Bayou is pretty good. Nose tackle also. I'm gonna have to do
the Datario Poe comparison. I think is pretty apt. Yeah, best case scenario, Shelvin, like if he reaches his full potential, maybe he's Vince Wilfork, maybe he's Vita Vea, but I think more realistically, he's kind of a Dontari Poe 2.0 guy.
Yeah, that was going to be my comparison when we talked about it later. So he didn't play in 2020. He opted out, like you said earlier. 39 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 2 passes defended, and he opted out in 2020 season. 2019 season, speak about that with LSU, that whole season in general, and the players that y'all had.
I mean, I still laugh about it, just how good they were. Of course, I'm biased. Of course, I'm going to say with my LSU glasses on, it's the best team of all time. But they have a legitimate argument to stake that claim. It's absurd, LSU fans for the 124 years or 25 years prior to 2019, we just bemoaned like, man, if only we had a quarterback, if only we had a passing game. And then the first year we have a quarterback and passing game, it's maybe the most devastating passing game in college football history. There's still dudes that's going to be drafted off that team. There was 14 guys taken last year, and there's going to be a handful this year. And there's still even guys like Derek Stingley, who still has another year of college ball left that's going to come out. And the running backs, while they don't, I'm high on John Emery. I don't know how much college football you guys watch, but I'm high on John Emery. I think he could be maybe a second-round pick in 2022, 2020, or a third-round pick. I'm high on Ty Davis-Price. It's got that 2019 has a pretty unassailable resume with the number of teams they beat. This past Alabama team was great. I'll admit that, but in these empty stadiums, it just didn't feel the same. LSU had to go to Tuscaloosa, they had to go to Austin, they had to go to an Ole Miss team that was pretty spunky, pretty frisky. They got down 10 against the defending champions, Clemson Tigers, and outscored them. What was it? 35-8, I believe. It was a 17-7. They won 42-25. And they turned that into a laugher, and they just eviscerated Oklahoma. I don't know if you guys watched that Chick-fil-A Bowl, but 63-28 in Burrow. There's 7 touchdowns and a half. Like it was over at halftime, and they turned the second half of a playoff game into a spring game.
Yeah.
It was just unfair at times, and it was a lot of fun. It was the most fun I've had watching team, and I felt as cheesy as it sounds, I feel pretty honored that I got to watch that and cover that in some kind of capacity.
Okay, I feel you on that. Our guys put up a good fight every week, even though they get pushed around. I wouldn't say our guys. I would say Grady Jarrett. Um, everybody else is kind of like just there sometimes, and it's like, all right, yo, what y'all gonna do? When y'all gonna help Grady Jarrett? But you said I don't know how old you are, but I was gonna ask you the question of LSU championship or Saints championship.
What would I rather moving forward, or what means more to me?
Which one did you like watching more?
Answer it right.
The Saints one meant more to me only because I'm 27, so I was in elementary school when LSU won in 2003, and I think I was either in 8th grade or a freshman in high school when they won in 07. So I was kind of used to LSU winning. The Saints winning, you know, that was a concept that just didn't equate. You know, the Saints did not at the time equal winning, and then 2006 was special with coming back and reopening the dome and getting to the NFC title game. Even that felt like, all right, this is the pinnacle. Like I can almost die happy because they got to the game before the Super Bowl. But 09, the Super Bowl, is always going to mean more to me because it just felt more improbable. It didn't feel real while it happens. It also hurts knowing how many opportunities they missed either by their own doing or poorly officiated calls. But I'm grateful for the one.
Yeah, I understand that. Getting one is something the Falcons are trying to get. So close. Scheme fit. I say he's a 3-4 nose tackle, 4-3 one technique guy. What do you think?
I think he's more of a true nose. He's just so big. Although I think if Atlanta does use some multiple looks, you could get pretty creative with him and Jarrett. Align him as the one and kind of let Jarrett kind of work around him. Let another LSU legend of his own, Deion Jones, kind of shoot him behind whatever space Shelvin eats up. I think that little triangle could pair together really well.
Not Tyler Davidson at all. He be dapping opponents up during the game. Yes, he does. You know, it's another guy I do not like. It's pretty much anybody on the D line except for Grady Jarrett is. I don't have a good taste in my mouth about just because they don't get to the quarterback enough. They're not nasty enough. Boy, I tell you, this Falcons D line, boy, you can go on for days about it. A note that I watched when I was watching a little bit on his film, he doesn't collapse the pocket a lot. He's strictly a run defender. Do you think he could get better at pass rush?
I mean, he was coached by Ed Orgeron, you know, like one of the best, and Pete Jenkins was his position coach, and those are like two of the best defensive line coaches to ever do it. And if it hasn't shown up yet, maybe that's just not his bag. I mean, I don't want to rule it out, but if Coach O and Coach Jenkins couldn't get out of him, I don't know who the Falcon defensive line coach is, but I don't think they have nearly the resume as those two guys. And maybe that's just not a skill set, and that's fine. But I think he's just more of a true run stuffer than a pass rusher. I don't have it in front of me, but I think he only had maybe half a sack in 2 years at LSU.
Wow. So when it comes, I want to get back to his weight gain because that's a big issue for him because it was one of his biggest issues. Do you think once he gets to the NFL, it's not going to be a problem anymore? Because you said earlier that the good food and all that in Louisiana. So when he gets to the NFL, do you really think he'll be able to maintain that weight and keep that 350 weight?
Yeah, I do. I trust that because, again, how hard he worked to get to that playing weight. You know, like I said earlier, who didn't eat poorly in college, but he'll be in that system. You know, maybe he even hires his own chef, his own dietitian. Like he'll have these people with Atlanta, with the Falcons, if it does work out that way, who could be on him about these things. And I do think he has that discipline to maintain it. He's dropped it before. And again, I'm giving him flack about some weight that he may not even add it. You know, I don't think anyone's really seen him since he opted out in August, he could very easily have kept that weight off. I mean, like I said, he just hasn't been very public. I don't think anyone has seen him. Hasn't worked out or anything like that. Hasn't been around the program. Hasn't been around campus, I think. He could very easily have kept that going. And I'm just projecting my fears onto him. But yeah, I trust that he's disciplined enough to keep that off.
Okay. So let me ask you this. If he pops up in at the pro day, what weight is a red flag for you?
If he's in the 370s, if that's
okay,
even maybe like 365, I'd be a little concerned and thinking, man, he probably should have played that extra year just to be in that routine and that regiment. If it's peaking past the 6s into the 7s, and God forbid he's in the 8s, I don't think it's that extreme. I'd be stunned if it gets that bad. I think he's smart enough to understand weight has to be my focus as I approach the NFL. But if he slacked and it hits in the 360s, that might be a flag that, is he really into this? Does he really want to be doing this?
Yeah, I can understand that is your mind into it. We don't need no more of those players on this team. We just got rid of one last year in Top McKinley and Vic Beasley. So is your mind in it? We need you to be wanting to play, wanting to hit somebody. It sounds good to say, oh yeah, I want to go out there and hit somebody. But when it's time to snap the ball, if you don't want to go out there and hit nobody, we got problems. Still do this day, the injuries are not having played besides one snap in the Vikings game on the goal line. Cookie, you want to answer that?
Yeah, speaking to Sanat, I think Dan Quinn has done this man such a disservice because whenever he actually plays, even though he plays in limited snaps, he's there. He gets in the backfield whenever there's a run. He even showed some pass rush capability. So I do think he's a dark horse for some nose tackle snaps. I know he's not like the prototypical nose tackle weight, but the new game nowadays, they don't want you to be, some teams don't want you to be more so past like 315 or 320. But it depends because, Pease has been around some big dudes. They've been on the 325, 340 range. So we don't know what he's looking for. But regardless if we pick Tyler Shelvin or not, I do think Sanat is in for definitely some more increased snaps or just I just think it increased chance. I think everybody that hasn't had a chance on this team, even like Quadre Olesen, just players like that, I think under Arthur Smith and Dean Pease tutelage, they're all going to have definitely a shot to actually show what they're made of in this league.
I think this whole defense, a lot of players, this whole defense is going to be revamped. I'm not saying it's going to be a top defense, but I think a lot of players that we have been looking at saying, that player has to go, is going to do something different this year, and we're going to be talking about them differently next year at the end of the 2021 season.
My pick for that guy would be Marlon Davidson, by the way.
Marlon Davidson?
Yeah.
I like Marlon. I loved him when we drafted him. But like Deidre Sanat, he doesn't play a lot of snaps. I think he was injured for a lot of the year or whatever was going on with him, but he didn't play a lot of snaps. I don't think maybe 1 or 2 games?
I think he definitely I think he played most of his significant snaps against the Bucs in that last game. I think it's because he bulked up for the combine. I think that didn't really do good for his body. I don't think he did it right. So that kind of put some more pressure on his knee.
Yeah. So Zachary, when you watch this guy on tape, what sticks out about him and what is something that besides pass rush he needs to work on?
I mean, the thing that sticks out, he's such a space eater. I think, and we mentioned this earlier, I think ideally he could be like a Vita Vea. I mean, you guys watch the NFC South. I watched the NFC South. How much better did Tampa Bay look once Vita Vea came back into the fold? Like, it was already a good defense with David and White and the linebacker core, but once Vea came back in that middle, kind of clogged everything up, freed up more of that space. That's peak Shelvin if he could be that. I think what it could work on is more kind of that lateral quickness. I think you could he's great getting downhill, eating up space, but misdirection Joe Brady's a great play caller for Carolina. Sean Payton's a great play caller for New Orleans. Tampa's got all their guys. They could probably catch Shelvin in his tracks because he can't quite move side to side. And I don't know if that's just because of size or just lack of pass rushing moves. He's not used to moving around the pocket as opposed to just attacking and getting downhill. But I think like a Kamara, a Ronald Jones, a Curtis Samuel probably won't go through him, but they could get around to him pretty easily. And I'm curious how Shelvin improves moving across the line as opposed to getting downhill.
Okay. You said those quicker running backs can get around him. Do you think his tackling is a problem, or do you just think it's just the quicker running backs?
No, I think it's just foot speed.
Okay.
What he hits, he finishes. But I say like I can blow by him. I can't blow by him. Obviously, I'm not the athlete that Tyler Shelvin is, but an Alvin Kamara could get around him. Curtis Samuel could get around him. McCaffrey, once he's back in the fold, could get around him. I think at least there was a reverse play that Clemson ran in the national championship game, and not that it was Shelvin's fault. I mean, the whole team busted the play, but Shelvin was caught slipping on it, and Clemson exploited that and scored a touchdown on it to extend their lead to 10 points.
Where do you see Mr. Shelvin going in the draft? Round in what team? What team would you like to see him on? You don't have to say the Falcons.
No, Falcons actually be a really good fit. Another reason why I wish he would have played in 2020 when the way too early 2021 mock drafts came out. Shelvin was in that 15 to 25 range. I don't see him in that range anymore, and that's a shame. I think maybe he makes it up later on down the road on that second contract because that's where the real money's made. But I think in this here and now, he's going to slip to that 50, 55, 80-ish range. I mean, I think he could really tumble because of how little film there's out there and how long it's been since he's played meaningful football. When he gets drafted in April, he plays his first game in September. That'll be his first game since January 2020. That's a year and a half away from football. A Jamar Chase can get away with that because Chase was a surefire. Chase is going to be top 5, top 10 at the worst. Not playing. Chase was going to lose more money playing this year than not playing. Shelvin could have cemented himself as that first round pick if he had played, or maybe high second round pick in the 40 to 45 range. I think some people have passed him by. I think out of sight, out of mind is going to end up undoing Shelvin's draft prospects, unless he absolutely just shows out at pro day. Even then, I don't think that saves him and shoots him back up to the first rounds. I think maybe like late second rounds, his ceiling maybe more realistically in the third, unfortunately for him. As for team, I think Falcons would be a good pick. I think he would fit well. Is it weird if I say the Rams? I think he could give Donald and Brockers a blow, almost like being.
Yeah.
He could be a blow for both of them because he's so big. I think it. Yeah. I as a Saints fan, has to play the Rams. It seems like every year now because of conference divisions and where we finish every year. I'd be terrified if he ended up on the Rams and the Falcons, really.
For me, go ahead, Cookie.
Would you rate since Tyler Shelvin didn't play this past season? Would you rate Neil Farrell Jr.? I think that was his backup above him.
No, and Farrell's still playing, or Farrell's going to come back in 2021 for LSU. But no, even without playing, I wouldn't put Farrell above him. LSU's had a lot of really good defensive linemen, especially the past, since the 2000s, turn of the millennium. I remember Tyler Shelvin. I'm probably not going to remember Farrell nearly on that level as Shelvin, as I will Shelvin. Farrell's probably a good, not great LSU defensive lineman. Probably gets drafted, maybe hangs around the year in the league for a couple of years. But Shelvin, if he's right physically, I think Shelvin could be great. But it's a big if. But no, I don't equate Farrell and Shelvin together.
For draft, I was thinking he was like a late second, early third, maybe. I think, like you said, his pro day is not going to bump or make him go down. I really think it's based off his weight. If he shows up and he's 350, I think he'll be a late second. If he shows up and he's, like you said, 365, 370, he might even go late third at that point. Because then as a GM, you're looking at him like, all right, so you didn't play in 2021.
Yeah. What were you doing this whole time?
Exactly. You just wasn't working out. So then that falls into, do you really want to play the game? So for me, late second, early third, and worst case scenario, late third, early fourth.
I'd be really surprised if he's a day 3 pick. I think he doesn't get out of the second day. It's like you said, King. I mean, it depends on his weight. Because Cookie asked me would I rate him worse than Neil Farrell. Like coming out of high school, he came in the same class as he was a more highly rated player than Jamar Chase and Terrace Marshall. I think he was Louisiana's #1 player in I guess it was 2018 or 2017. He was rated higher than Chase, who won the Biletnikoff and is going to be a top 10, top 5. Chase, if you guys draft Chase, I'm devastated because I'm seeing it now with Tampa having to play Devin White 2 times a year as a Saints fan sucks after cheering for him for 3 years. He's like, man, this guy's really good. It sucks I have to go against him now. If you guys, I don't know where you guys are, where the Falcons' plans are with Julio anymore, but if Chase is like an heir apparent to Julio, or even just paired with him and Calvin Ridley, I'm terrified, and I'm gonna be just in fear for the next 15 years if Chase is a Falcon.
So let me ask you this, since you brought it up. So if everything would have went as planned, Devin White and Deion Jones would both be LSU guys who would have gotten a Super Bowl early in their career. Who do you think is better?
Between White and White's an animal. I've never seen anything like that. White might be the best linebacker already 2 years into his career, because he's bigger. He came. I don't have the weights in front of me, but White is he's so much thicker than Debo, but he doesn't lose. He's not, the speed isn't lost. He might even move better than Debo. It's not that I don't put a lot of stock into Pro Bowls and all. Well, it's crazy that Devin White was second team All Pro, not first team. I really find it hard to believe that there's 3 linebackers better than Devin White currently. Debo Jones is a Pro Bowl linebacker. Devin White is an All Pro, future Hall of Fame linebacker. And travesty he wasn't the Super Bowl MVP, because I thought he was the best player on that field against the Chiefs a little over a month ago.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to draft Jamar Chase. I think if we draft Jamar Chase, I'm going to lose my mind. Be honest.
Really? Why?
Because we don't need Jamar Chase. We need trenches and defense. So
I help Russell Gage need.
Yeah, that's another thing. We don't need a Jamar Chase, a wide receiver like him. Great, but I'm gonna lose my mind if we get him. I know Julio is up in age. He has a lot of injuries, but at this point, we should be running the ball more anyway. So if we're running the ball more.
Hey, speaking of Gage, guys, I am pleasantly surprised by the pro Russell Gage turned into. I didn't see this at all.
Why are you so surprised? Maybe it's his quarterback.
Maybe that's part of it. I mean, because he played with he definitely had Danny Etling. I remember that, and I think he may have had Brandon Harris or one of kind of like LSU's mediocre quarterbacks before Burrow got to campus. But Gage was always a hard worker guy. He's more of a special teams gunner. Would always make the tackle. He even wore like 33. Like, what receiver wears 33? So. But to be like a legitimate number 3 NFL receiver, he was a 7th round pick, correct, or maybe 6th round? That's great. Never would have expected that from him. And maybe that's more of an indictment on being able to get him the ball, not having the quarterback play, not having the offensive schemes to get him the ball. But I'm really happy for Russell Gage. I thought he would stick in the NFL because he's such a good special teams player. But to actually give Atlanta legitimate reps on offense to be a third option, that's lagniappe. That's gravy.
Yeah. I think most of Russell Gage's success is because of who's around him. You're usually double teaming Julio. Calvin's there too. So if all 3 of them are on the field, it's kind of like pick your poison. So I think that's where a lot of his success comes from. Yes, when they're not on the field, he does make some plays, but I think if he's a legitimate number 2 or number 1 guy, he wouldn't be. I think it would be more. He's
not a 1. I agree, but
yeah, I think it's more so of that. The guy in Pittsburgh, the dancing guy, the TikTok guy.
Smith-Schuster?
Yeah, because when AD was there, he was so good because he was a second guy. But when he became first, it's like, what happened? So I think it's the wide receivers that are around him that make him, I don't want to say look good, but in a sense, look good. Let's step over to this chat. Falcons Nest in the north by 9. That's is. Okay.
People have been saying that.
Defense wins championship. That is true. You see what Tampa Bay just did. He can chuck thanks hard spiral.
I've been saying that myself for years.
Yeah. Russell Gage, that's it. Yeah, Russell Gage.
He's a good thrower. Yeah. He can throw it.
Need someone next to Grady now. Yeah, Tyler Shelvin. He'll be great next to Grady. Gage is a great role guy. Facts. Great role guy.
We've been saying that for years that we need someone next to Grady, but it's always someone on the outside. Like it's always like, yeah, we need somebody next to Grady. Let's get Big B. Let's get Tech. We need somebody on the inside that can start wrecking some teams with him. So you can't double this guy because if you double Grady, that other guy gets that one-on-one chance. It's also going to kill you. So like we just need to prioritize defense this offseason. So I'm really excited. Hopefully they actually get a genuine nose tackle, whether that's in free agency or the draft. So I am definitely interested in Tyler Shelvin. I think they did go to their pro day, if I did read that article correctly earlier.
Yeah. Any questions, Cookie, for Zach?
What other players coming out of LSU would you be interested in the Falcons selecting?
I would it's probably redundant if they do it, but Jabril Cox only played 1 year at LSU because he spent the previous 3 or 4 at North Dakota State. But he was a linebacker, but he moves really well. And in fact, I think he might actually be a safety at the NFL level. He's a really, really good athlete. He had like 40-something sacks in his 3 years at North Dakota State, and he moved out to the LSU.
What was that?
I have no idea.
Can you hear me, Zach?
Yeah, I can hear.
Oh God, what was that?
I don't know where that's coming from.
Oh God. What were you saying? Go ahead, Zach.
I was just saying Jabril Cox.
Yeah, we're not going to do that for the rest of the show. All right, I'm gonna remove y'all, and then I'm gonna just come back in and see if that helps.
All right.
Go ahead, Zachary.
What do I hit to hit the video?
That didn't help. All right. Is that my mic? No, it's not my mic. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Absolutely talking about Russell Gage just a minute ago. Cookie, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Oh, is it me?
That's weird. So, Mikal Walker is going to have a breakout year. I would love for Mikal Walker to have a breakout year. He's one of those people that, once again, under Dan Quinn, we don't know what happened and what he could give to you. Zach, you there? Cookie, you there?
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah.
You know what?
We're gonna have to cut this one short. Zach, you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, we're gonna have to cut this one short. I don't know what's going on, technical difficulties, but thank you, Zach, for coming on the show, man. We gotta link up again when we figure out what's going on with StreamYards. Yeah, I suit up for safety for us. You know, I can do it. But if you're new to the channel, you know what to do. Like and subscribe. Share this content out with other Atlanta Falcons or Atlanta sports fanatics. Hit us up in the comments section. As always, come holla at your hometown sports podcast. Any plugs? If this static goes away, Zachary?
Yeah, just
yeah. I'm sorry, man. Type it in the chat and I'll plug you in, brother. Type it in the chat and I'll plug you in because I don't want you to not get plugged in. Jacoby Stevens did meet with the Falcons. Oh, snap. Y'all like my dance? That's my dance. Thank you for everybody that joined the show. We'll be back on Sunday with our full cast of Georgia sports news. Stevens would be a great guy to have. Yes, I agree with you, man. Zachary said Stevens would be a great guy to have. He's going to plug himself. I'm going to read his plugs, and we're going to get up out of here. Hawks blew another lead, y'all. But what's new? Hawks blew another lead. Yo, I don't know what to say about this Hawks team, man. We're gonna need some prayers, something, man. This Hawks team is woo. You didn't have to bring that up. Yes, I did. What's new? You're right, man. Kings Ram is gonna be on fire tomorrow, especially if they lose this game and they lose tomorrow. Kings Realm is going to be on fire tomorrow. I'm just going to let y'all know that right now. It is going to be on fire. Go Braves. Yes. I can't wait for baseball to start. I cannot wait for baseball to start. All right. So Zach will have more draft content coming for you. We're at the end of Valley Shook, and you can find me at Zachary Junda. Did I say that right? Junda? Zachary Junda, ZACHARYJUNDA. Zachary Junda. My God. We're going to do this again, Zachary, and we're gonna have better. I don't know what's going on with the sound. It does that sometimes. We can talk off air if you want to talk more about StreamYard.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you're new to the channel, y'all know what to do. Like and subscribe. Share this content out with your other Atlanta sports fanatics. And if you're new to the channel, always come holla at your hometown sports podcast. Thank you to everybody that joined the show. Thank you for everybody that joined the show. And we'll see y'all see me on King's Realm tomorrow. We're going to talk about this Hawks game. And we're going to talk. They're losing now. So we're going to talk about the Hawks, and we're going to talk. And on Sunday, we'll be talking about all of the other sports that come with Georgia. So, peace.